Hello and welcome to this episode of the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we bring hilarity to the darkest of fairy tales. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell, and this week we're talking about near-death experiences,
Steady now.
gut infections,
Sexy.
and the Gullah story of the Boo Hag.
Sounds good. So let's see if she's remembered this. In the words of our great friend Jean-Baptiste Basile, what did he say, Fee?
I think he said, shut your mouth, open your ears, and hear what I shall tell you.
Nailed it.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
We're back. Hello.
Oh dear, you're excited about us being back, aren't you?
Well, I've had a lot of time away from you to be excited.
Oh, well, actually, I think you meant that. I took that as a compliment.
Did you?
Yeah, you didn't mean it that way, did you? I thought that was a compliment, but yeah, you're saying you've had enough time to reset.
Although having said that, I did see you at the weekend because we went to go see the rugby.
We did go and see the rugby.
Yeah. Did you enjoy yourself? First rugby match?
Do you know what I did? And I'm going to be honest with you now because it can be. I was dreading that a bit.
The actual sport bit, the bit we were there for.
I did think, I'm not going to have a clue what was going on.
But you did see some good rugby being played.
Oh, yeah, I did. And I learnt rugby.
That is true. And you got quite confident with it because only after me teaching you 4 things, you went, I think I can commentate this.
Good. Yeah. Well, I did pick it, didn't I?
You did pick it up quite quickly,
And
yeah.
not even that. I picked out my favourite player way before she was announced as Lady of the Match. I don't think that's what they call her.
I think it's like sports person of the match. Lady of the match sounds like somebody who comes on with a bonnet and recites Jane Austen at half time.
Curtsies.
Also, to give you an idea to the listener of the vibe we had going into this match, it was an afternoon match, so we had to meet at 11:30 in the morning, and I rocked up with a bottle of water and a probiotic gut drink because I'm an absolute lad.
Legend.
And Fee rocked up with a can of porn star martini and a Colin the Caterpillar chocolate cake.
Yeah, I didn't. I told you that though about me. I didn't know that was an issue until I met people who aren't from Kent who are like, you've already had 4 strawberry daiquiris at midday. And I'm like,
Yeah, but this is the other thing: is you don't drink. You drink fruit juice that's flavoured with a bit of alcohol. That's why you knock them back so quickly.
or do I drink alcohol that is flavoured with a bit of fruit juice?
No, most of that is
Well,
sugar.
that's the question.
That's why you're getting smacked off your tits. Sugar.
What else have we done? It's been a while, isn't it? I've been to another country. I've been to Sri Lanka.
You did go to Sri Lanka. Your pictures looked lovely.
Actually, I'll say it's been a while. I nearly didn't make it back.
From Sri Lanka?
Yeah, and I had a near-death experience.
You haven't told me this.
Basically, it was the 2 parts of Matthew's personality that I don't like collided, and I ended up in danger.
I've just had a sip of water and I'm braced and ready and hydrated for this story.
So, you know, he likes a walk.
Was it you were trekking around the entire island of Sri Lanka in a day?
Well, he likes a walk, and what we calling it, he's thrifty. So basically, he wanted to climb up the biggest waterfall the second biggest waterfall in Sri Lanka,
Right.
but he didn't want to pay for a tour guide. So he found a tuk-tuk driver on the side of the street,
Oh, God.
paid him quite cheaply, who we didn't know at that point, but he was an aspiring YouTuber. Oh, nearly killed them both. So we've gone to this waterfall, which I believe from memory is 632 foot or something, right? And was at the bottom of it, and Dave, the tuk-tuk driver.
That's what the
Yeah,
Sri
Dave.
Lankan-
I'm pretty sure that weren't his name either.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of issues with Dave. So he was like, do you want to go into the waterfall? And Matt's like, yeah, of course, yeah. So he brought us water shoes. So he gave me...
Water shoes.
Yeah, you know, like you wear in the sea in case there's like...
Yeah, there's little rubbery things.
Yeah.
They're like pebbles and shit.
I think they don't have any grip on them, right? So we're climbing up these rocks at the side of the waterfall. Matthew's done his thing of, I'm just fucking off. I'm at the top of the waterfall, basically. He's gone.
Right.
Dave's filming. Dave's filming us, going, I found my 2 friends. I'm like, I'm not your friend. With water shoes, I've gone to climb this rock, slipping. I said, oh my God, I'm like, there's no grip on these. I'm slipping. So they were like, calm down, I was like, I'm going to take them off because I've got no grip. So they've got no shoes on these wet rocks because obviously the water's pissing out the waterfall. I said to Matt, like, holding out my arm, Matt, can you take these? Because I've got nowhere to put them. Can you put them in the rucksack? He went, just hold on to them, hurry up, right? So then, you know, when you do that thing where you miss your footing, you trip, my arms have gone wild. I had nothing, I had water shoes in my hand, so I couldn't grab onto anything. I've fallen backwards down the water, full roly-poly, and cracks my head on a massive rock. I did that British thing of like just jumping up, grabbing my Ray-Bans and going, I'm okay. I'm okay. Dave was like, you all right? I was like, can you just leave me here? Leave me here.
Dave's jizzing himself because he's got 100 million view
Oh
video
God.
ready to go.
I was like, I'm not going any further up that waterfall. So I just sort of took myself off in silence and waited at the bottom. And then Matt come down, he went, oh God, how funny was that when you fell? And
Matt's a brave boy, isn't he?
I burst into tears.
Oh.
He didn't realise, like, you know when something shocks you so bad, like, I was hurt. I had, like, scratches and chunks of skin falling out my legs and arms. But I was just, I genuinely thought in that moment, you know, for the rest of the day, when you relive what could have happened. So all I was thinking was...
You were doing sliding doors for the rest of the day.
I was just thinking, what if I'd fallen at a different point of the waterfall? I would have rolled into the waterfall, like I would have been a body.
I mean, you are constantly a body. That's how big.
No, but a floating dead body in a waterfall. I would have been.
I mean, I do think that's a bit extreme. Maybe like you've just fallen over, and the fall sounds nasty. Yeah.
No, it was. I don't think anyone's. I wish fucking Dave had been a better YouTuber, and I wish he'd got it on camera.
Yeah. If anyone has nursed that clip, can you do?
Oh no, he sent it to us, but I don't fall down. He missed that bit. To be fair, the only thing that stopped me going on the waterfall was he grabbed my arm. Put down his bloody iPhone for a minute. Yeah. I was doing my nutting that evening. I was to Matt, can you just wake me up every 2 hours and ask me what my name is? I really thought I was going to die. I really thought that was it.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah.
In fact, I haven't had any near-death experiences that I know of.
That's my only one, I think.
Although having said that, I have had a bacterial gut infection. Because
Oh, God.
The universe went, do you know what? Louise is too sexy. We need to tone that woman down.
Right. So is that a lot of time on the toilet?
No, it's the other way. It's a lot of time throwing up.
Oh.
Just for all the viewers. I had to go into a hospital with it, with the absolute lads. I don't. If you've never been to A&E on a Saturday night, may I say, what a recommendation. Yeah, it's grim. And now I can't drink or eat anything from.
So no porn star martinis or colony caterpillars combinations for you.
For me, I've had a lot of bananas.
You can have too many bananas.
I don't need to know that right now. Fear is one of the few things.
Like if I've had any death experience, you're about to have. Like, you've had too many bananas. You've got far too much potassium.
Die from potassium.
You can have.
Could you not?
Oh, sorry, but you can have. You should Google that because I think I did Google it once. Actually, I think you've got to have about 100 bananas a day.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely not causing a shortage in my local Sainsbury's of banana. I'm not that level.
Or Sri Lanka hasn't run out of bananas because you've gone mad on them. No,
but it's just really boring, and I've lost no weight, and I'm like, this is even worse because this is the only time I literally cannot ruin a diet, and yet my body's going, well, clearly there's something wrong with her. We must preserve everything we've got 'cause she's obviously dying.
Your body just clings on to all the weight. Like, I used to have normal size arms.
You don't have big arms.
People try and tell me I don't. I know I have because when I was boxing, one of the boxing guy put me on their stories on Instagram, and a load of people replied going, "Fucking hell, guns on that."
That's a compliment.
It wasn't. It wasn't because there was a lot of underarm adding to the guns, like, you know, the flabby bit at the bingo wing. I got a bingo wing.
I don't think you got bingo wing. Right, it is time.
Okay,
we're back. Do you remember why we're here?
To read stories.
Ghosty witchy story to start us off.
Nice.
It's from the Gullah people. The Gullah what are they called? The Gullah people, who are usually based in South Carolina, Georgia area,
Okay.
and originate from kind of Western countries in Africa. And they were brought over, enslaved, and then just over hundreds of years, they've managed to keep their traditions and stories and everything alive. Mostly because they were really good at it, but also in the area of South Carolina and Georgia, they were actually quite isolated, which meant a lot of like the plantation owners, especially because of like all the diseases and stuff that were going on in the summer, just didn't come back to that area, so they were kind of left to their own devices. So it allowed them to preserve this culture. And we've got a really famous story about a Boo Hag.
I think I've met one of them on a Friday night, Alexia. What's a Boo Hag?
I don't know what's up with you, Hag.
Oh.
It's a form of a witch vampire, and it's usually a woman, in fact, most commonly a woman,
Right.
who is almost translucent in colour. Like
That's what I'm like in the winter at the moment. That's why it's go Sri
translucent.
Lanka. Yeah.
And also incredibly svelte and thin. That it's often said that that's why you have to cover all the cracks and everything and close your windows in your home, because she could sneak in.
What about her arms? Are they a normal size?
Well, we need to check and ask. Yeah.
Slim, translucent lady.
Yeah, and then the Boo Hag is kind of there's ones that are similar but in different cultures. So in West Africa, there's one that's called, I think it's an Adzi or Adzi.
Okay.
Similar vibe. And then there's also an East Caribbean version. There's more commonly it relates to, because a Boo Hag is somebody who will go in and it doesn't suck blood, it sucks the life out of people, because the Gullah people believe that we all have a soul inside us.
Me too. I believe that.
And a Boo Hag is kind of like sucking it out. And traditionally what they do is they do something called ride you in your sleep, right? So they'll sit on top of your chest, so you'll feel this great heavy weight, and they'll just suck the life out of you. But they keep you alive most of the time because they like to keep reusing you for energy.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Go on.
Hocus Pocus.
When they suck, they're like, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I can see in my brain.
Yeah, but so those ones, a Boo Hag will just ride you to suck the life out of you. There are related ones to this, which are, because obviously that does sound quite sexual, but a Boo Hag is.
Well, I think you made it sound sexual.
I think there's
I
only
don't know if they wrote it like that.
It was called riding, and I can't do anything about
Okay.
that. But there are ones that are related to it, which are women using sex and seducing men specifically to get life out of them that way, and they've been going on for generations. So like like a succubus, which is what they're commonly referred to as, which is a woman who, so like Lilith from the Bible is a succubus.
I love the way you're saying these, like I've read those ones.
But it's good for me to educate you, and when I say educate you, for you to listen now and in 10 minutes have it fall out your head.
Honestly, that's still happening. Anyway.
So they're kind of all linked, just like a Boo Hag is also linked to the fact that hags descend from kind of witches and all this. Basically, it's all women are horrible people if they have their own minds, power, or do bad things to men historically, so they get put in these stories. There are many ways to prevent a Boo Hag coming into your home. First one, protect and cover all the cracks, because they're very svelte and can get in that way.
Okay.
Also, and this is very common if you go to South Carolina and Georgia along the Sea Islands bit, which is where most of the Gullah people are, is to paint your doors and windows like a turquoisey blue.
Right.
Because that confuses the Boo Hag, because Boo Hags are mostly prevalent at night. So painting your door and window that colour makes them think, oh, it's like the sky, it must be daytime, I'll move on.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Matthew's going to let me do that.
Also, it's said that if you want to deter a Boo Hag, you wear your clothes inside out, because it confuses them when they come to take your life out of you. Apparently they're like, oh, the clothes are inside out, I don't know what I'm possibly doing. But my favourite one is to put a broom near your bed, because apparently Boo Hags are inquisitive creatures, and they're so inquisitive that they will get confused by the broom and start counting all of the straws in the broom, and therefore won't attack you.
Right, okay. This is the first one I don't feel like they're real.
I'm sorry what? You thought all the other fairy tales we did were real?
Well, sometimes when you tell me things, I think, oh yeah, maybe I will paint the windows blue, and maybe I will put a broom next to it. But these ones, I just feel like if I encountered one, I'd be able to win, basically.
Right, so when we've done all the ones about talking frogs and shit like that, you were like, I could get beaten by that talking frog. I'm fucked. But this Boo Hag, who's a grown woman who can suck the life out of you.
Yeah, but she's counting brooms. She's counting straw.
A frog you could just
She's a busy
stand
lady.
on. A lot of the Boo Hag thing kind of, again, relates to sleep and the more deep sleep you are. And there was a lot of people that think it's relating to when people suffered with sleep paralysis but didn't know that that was a thing.
Right,
So
yeah.
they would create something like, oh, it's a Boo Hag. And also, when it was like the succubus ones, which are the ones which seduce men and sleep with them, it was also thought that that was done in men's dreams, which some have argued is like basically when they're having wet dreams and stuff and can't explain, or they couldn't explain it. So they were like, oh, clearly a woman's spirit has come in
Wank me off.
and wanked you off. It's not your fault, dear boy.
It's really taken a turn, isn't it?
The Boo Hag,
Yeah.
Gullah tradition, folklore. I'm excited. First one of the series. Off we go.
Yay. What voices will she have?
Well, as the Gullah people are mostly from South Carolina, Georgia, means I'm going to have to do.
Oh, I like it when you do that.
Right, you ready?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. Brother Emmett Fisher was a fine-looking young man who lived in a tiny community on the Georgia coast. He was well respected in town for being an honest, hard-working fellow. Although he wasn't wealthy, he made a nice enough living doing handiwork for the local townspeople.
Okay.
Right?
I'm with you still.
Just a bang-up lad.
Sexy man.
Do we know if it's sexy?
Fine.
Fair enough, yeah.
Do they not mean like fine?
Fair enough, good
I
point.
thought that's what they meant, or they just mean he's fine.
We'll go with the former. We'll go
I thought they
fine.
meant sexy.
Emmett was getting close to marrying age, and every woman in town was jumping at the chance to be his chosen one.
It meant sexy.
Yes, it did. He'd have unexpected visits from different women every day, bearing gifts of fried chicken, gumbo, cakes, cookies, and other delicacies. I'm going to tell you this right now, for any listeners in particular. If you ever wanted to seduce me, that is exactly how you should do it. Just a hamper with, or not at the minute. I've got to live off probiotic gut drinks at a minute. But in 2 to 4 weeks' time, when my antibiotics are finished, I want a basket of fried chicken, gumbo, cakes, cookies, and what you consider to be other delicacies. But Emmett had his eyes set on a beautifully mysterious young woman who lived alone in a small cabin deep in the marsh. She was incredibly beautiful, with long dark hair, smooth skin, and piercing green eyes. But word around town was that she was a little strange, and it was best to stay away from her.
Typical man, isn't it? He can have anyone he wants, but he wants that one.
He could have anyone, and he wants the creepy one that's on the outskirts of town.
Sorry, she's creepy. Let me have a look at that one.
But there's this nice one over here with a bonnet. No, I think that one over there that cleans her teeth with a jackknife. I think that's more the one for me.
That one counting straw. I want that one.
Emmett, however, couldn't get this mysterious woman out of his head. What made her even more intriguing was the fact that she would walk through town, turning heads with every step, but never did she acknowledge the admiring glances or catcalls from numerous hopeful would-be suitors. In fact, no one in town could ever remember this woman speaking a word to anybody.
She's ahead of her time, isn't she? If she's not responding to catcalls.
This is what I'm saying. You're like, I just shouted nice tits at that woman, and how dare she not speak back to me?
She's so quiet and looking at the ground. How different of her.
Who does she think she is?
I saw a video today.
Yeah.
And this girl was riding a bike in London, and the white van man was shouting at her out the window, going, "Oh, can I get your number?" And she was basically going, "Fuck off, fuck off."
Quite right.
And he went, "God, your mum didn't teach you no manners or anything, right?" So then, anyway, the white van drives away. She chases it on her bike.
Yes.
Pulls up to the other window with her bare hands, rips the mirror off the side of the van, and then just cycles off. And it was all caught on one of those dash cams. And the bloke with the dash cam, who was on like a moped, just went, "I think you deserved that." And then like ripped it off with her bare hands.
Good for her. See, do you know what probably caused her to do that? Big arms. I bet that's what caused her to power
Strong
up.
arms.
That's what she did. But it's the thing, because it's never like, you never get someone who looks like Chris Hemsworth or Idris Elba catcalling you from a van. It's always somebody who looks like they have the nickname like Potato Pete and only has 4 teeth because he lost a bet where he had to eat a brick. And you're like, of course you're shouting at me. After several months of watching this gorgeous beauty walk through town, Emmett finally worked up enough nerve to call on her at her marsh cabin. His plan was to go fishing one day in a tidal creek that just so happened to be near her home. While out fishing, he conveniently broke his water jug into 100 little pieces. Brother Emmett walked up to the woman's house and knocked on the door.
He's a bit stalkery already, isn't he, Emmett?
It is a bit, isn't it? So for months, he's just been leering at this woman.
Yeah.
He's then come up with a plan, which in no way is just, I'll see how she feels and talk to her. It's like, I'm going to go fishing, but purposefully break this thing and then approach her.
Yeah.
So that she has to help me. And if she doesn't, she's a bad person.
He's a bit creepy at this point.
As the door slowly creaked open and the woman peeked out, Emmett nervously cleared his parched throat. This is my first. I'm going to go deep for Emmett.
Oh, go, yeah.
Right. So, cleared his
Gravelly, if you can.
Gravelly?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. All right, I'll try. Excuse me, ma'am, he stammered. My name is Emmett Fisher. I seem to have broken my water jug. Could you please spare me a cup of water? I'm mighty thirsty.
Nice, yeah.
The woman smiled and invited him in without hesitation. Her voice was even more beautiful and silky than Emmett had imagined. She not only gave Emmett a cup of water, but to his surprise, asked him to stay for supper.
Oi.
Yeah,
It's a bit forward, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair, yeah, they're both as forward as each other here. Like, he's gone, I'm just going to go and do this and she'll have to deal with it. And she's like, oh, you can just stay.
She can't be a boo hag, though, is she?
Well, let's find out.
Does the boo hag come to her place or something?
The food was delicious and the woman waited on Emmett hand and foot. Before he knew it, she invited him to stay for breakfast the next day, then lunch, then another dinner. So he's just had breakfast, lunch, and then another dinner.
What, with her?
Yeah. The food was
Read
delicious.
me that bit again.
The food was delicious and the woman waited on Emmett hand and foot. Before he knew it, she invited him to stay for breakfast the next day, then lunch, then another dinner.
Oh, she's love bombed him.
I ain't got time for love bombing either.
Even if it's with breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But to be fair, if you were going to do it,
that way. Yeah.
That is probably UK. Suddenly, in the blink of an eye, Brother Emmett found himself married to the mysterious woman.
Right. These are lazy writers again, aren't they? Because he's not blinked and married her. They've missed a load of stuff there.
I mean, what I will say is this version, because there's many versions of this,
Was on a word count.
It was one I found from like these American old ghost stories that they used to do on radio.
Yeah,
so it's from
pages missing, was there?
And there was no pages missing, but there is other versions of this that are really good. And there's a woman called Donna Washington who does quite a lot of ye olde, particularly Gullah stories, and go follow her on YouTube. But this is from some ghost story radio American show that I found.
Right, so maybe it was a short.
Yeah, we could say that. Yeah.
Short set that they had on the radio or something.
After their sudden marriage, Emmett and his bride got along reasonably well for a while. I mean, you're also saying this, like all of the other fairy stories we've read are incredibly in detail.
I know, yeah, but it does make me wonder, you know, if this was a dissertation or something, I reckon I'd have a bit of feedback on it.
I'm still saying at some point you should write a fairy tale and I'll read it back to you. Or you can read it to me.
I don't think I can write. I don't have
Full
enough
end
words.
of sentence.
I'll run out of words.
And you know,
when I hit my head on that rock, I think I lost a few more words.
You know, you can use like some words more than once when you're writing a story.
Yeah. But yesterday I had to do something, and I was like, "What is that word?" And it was tailor. I couldn't get it.
What were you trying to do?
I needed to ask someone to tailor something.
Who were you asking to tailor it?
At
If
work.
it was a tailor, the word was right there.
At work, I had to say, "Could you tailor your biography?"
Oh, I see.
But I change, adapt, do something with this biography.
Tart up your biography.
Yeah, jazzle it, I think I said.
Jazzle your biography.
Oh, I'm going to lose my job. Right, carry on.
So after their sudden marriage, Emmett and his bride got along reasonably well for a while. But after a few months, he began to notice that something peculiar was going on with his new wife. On certain nights, when the clock struck midnight, Emmett would sometimes wake up to find that his wife wasn't in bed with him, nor could she be found anywhere in the house. Emmett began to get worried that she might be seeing someone else on the side and confronted her about it. But she would just laugh and reassure him that she was, indeed, in the house and that he must be having nightmares.
Oh my God, she is like, when was this written?
I mean, this is like, it's been passed down through hundreds of years.
She's love bombing him and she's gaslighting him. I thought these were all new. Next thing, she'll be a narcissist. Oh my God, she's textbook. Oh my God.
Is this what's in your book that you're trying to palm off on me?
Yeah, probably. There's a bit about that in there.
But yeah, he's like, are you cheating on me? And she's like, no, I'm always in the house. You're just...
Yeah, she's gaslighting him.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, we're not sure on her. If that was my mate, I'd say, stay away from her. Divorce her.
Well,
I saw you last week. You didn't even know her, but now you're married. Divorce her.
your face is still stuffed full of fried chicken. You ain't got a clue, lad. What are you doing? His wife began to disappear more and more often. So Emmett decided to confide in one of his best friends, who had also just gotten married. So that's just what you said, isn't it?
Nice, yeah.
After hearing Emmett's story, his friend shook his head and said, this is my other voice. I'm excited about this one.
God.
Well, Emmett, I have to say this, but it sounds to me like you might have gone to marry yourself a Boo Hag.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I like that guy.
A Boo Hag? Asked Emmett. What's a Boo Hag? His friend went on to explain.
Well, a Boo Hag is an evil spirit that wakes up at night, shreds her skin like a snake, and flies outside and sucks the blood out of victims from near and far. A Boo Hag is an evil spirit that sits on your chest and steals your voice. A Boo Hag is an evil spirit that sits on your back and rides you all night like a horse until you drop dead.
Genuinely, he sounds like someone in my WhatsApp group when I was going through a bad relationship. I was like, what do we think? I'm like, he sounds like the one that would be like, crystals. That's what it is, crystals. Sounds like advice from a girl's WhatsApp group, that does.
Yeah, so, I mean, the quick and the speed of which his best mate has gone, my wife is not hanging around at night, and he's like, oh, well, that will be a Boo Hag then.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what? It's like, oh yeah, that's a woman.
She's unzipping her skin at night.
Yeah,
Come on.
unzips her skin and sucks the blood and life out of humans. Oh, that seems very realistic. Yeah. Do you not think maybe she's just got a women's reading group or something?
Yeah, and also, he didn't go for the affair.
That would be insane.
You're the finest man in South Carolina. No, she is a Boo Hag.
Horrified, Emmett said, well, I sure don't want to be married to no Boo Hag if that's what she is. What am I going to go do about it?
Well, the only way to get rid of a Boo Hag is to make sure she can't get back in her skin. When she gone, take a look in the closet. If you see her skin hanging in there, take it off of the hook.
Oh, sorry, I must stop you mid-accent. Mid-impress. I don't know what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, characterise. I don't know who you are. I feel like you've unzipped your skin and some little nerdy man is inside you. Anyway, so, sorry, he's just assuming she hangs it up in the wardrobe with her summer dresses, does she?
Yeah, you don't want it to get wrinkled.
If I'm sneaking out the house and unzipping my skin, I'm leaving that on the floor.
So, yeah, sorry.
The only way to get rid of a Boo Hag is to make sure she can't get back in her skin. So when she gone, take a look in the closet. If you see her skin hanging in there, take it off of the hook, fill it with salt, pepper, put it back in the closet, then lie back and watch.
Why salt and pepper? Why are we seasoning her?
Around midnight that very evening, Emmett rolled over in bed and found that his wife was gone. He did what his friend told him to do. He got up, went to the closet, and found his wife's skin hanging there, cold and slimy to the touch like a lizard's skin. He filled it with salt and pepper, hung it back in the closet, then went back to bed and waited for his wife to return. I like that he hung it back up. Like he went, just put this back on the hanger.
Also, in my mind, I'm seeing that whole skin filled up with salt and pepper.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
But really, how much salt and pepper has he got in the house?
Well, you probably a lot. If,
Nah. Most he's got is one of those 500ml salt things.
My question is...
The foot is filled up with salt and pepper. The rest is still skin.
No, you'd lay out the skin and do it that way. I wouldn't do it downwards so that it fills up into
I
the
would
foot.
have.
You dumb fuck, what you done that for?
She puts in her right foot. She's like, normal. She puts in her like, what's in there?
It's a bit
Just like,
gravelly.
yeah.
My question is how is the skin being hung up?
I
Like
think.
by the shoulders, but then the head's flopping down? Pinned up by the head?
Oh.
Arms flopped over it like a crucifix kind of
I
vibe?
think shoulders over the hanger and head back like a hoodie. You know, like how you'd hang a
got
hoodie.
you. Yeah, okay. Right, and then...
Forgot about her face.
Well, yeah, cause it'd be just flopping all
Yeah, I
over
assume
the
she
place.
took her face with her, but she hasn't.
She left her face at home. So he's filled it with salt and pepper
Yeah.
all over, not just by the face.
Yeah, right.
And he's hung it up and waited for the wife to return. Sure enough, as the sun was about to rise that morning, the door opened and in walked his skinless wife.
What does that even look like?
I imagine a person without skin.
So organs and muscle
Well,
or translucent? Because
it's like translucent and it's like you could see like veins and stuff. Like it's very...
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I'm
Or?
thinking like a bit ghosty, but I'm thinking also there is just like bits and remnants of muscle and a bit bloody and stuff
No,
like
I'm not
that.
happy about that.
No. The skin hanging like a hoodie in the wardrobe, that you're quite comfortable with.
But seeing what's underneath it, yeah. Especially if she was quite a looker. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of
Well,
a...
the skins are quite a looker.
Yeah.
She's stolen the skin of a very good looking person.
Oh, that's how they do it.
Yeah, so they suck the life and energy out of you and try to keep you alive for as long as possible so that they can keep doing that. But if they use you so much, then they will just take the skin because that's how they get around. They need the skin
Oh,
to go
God.
around.
Okay.
Which is good because if you were going to steal a skin, you would go through like a proper...
Oh, I'm not going for a manta.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you were trying to be really invisible because then you wouldn't get any attention. Whereas the really attractive ones, like, yeah, you can lure a load of people in, but they're also going to have a lot of spotlights on you because, like, she's fit,
Yeah.
but she's a bit weird. Like, look at her. Everybody's like, oh, she's fit, but we're catcalling her and she ain't doing it. Whereas if I look like a little hobbity type thing, if I look like Miss Marple, nobody's going to, like, bother
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Or you could have two skins. Your looker one and your non-looker one.
Yeah, see how you feel
Keep
each
'em hung
day.
up,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause sometimes you just don't want to be stared at.
No, exactly. That's why I got my gut infection. I'm too tired of being stared at. Sure enough, as the sun was about to rise that morning, the door opened and in walked his skinless wife. She opened the closet door, took her skin off the hook and spoke to it in a gravelly,
makes me feel
witch-like hiss. Are you all right for me to do me?
Yeah, just made me
gravelly?
shudder a bit. I don't know why.
Witch-like hiss?
I've done been out and had my fun, but I'm back now. My work's all done. So let me in, skin, for the sun's about to crest. You knows I'm a boo hag. I needs my rest.
That's what I say to Matthew when I come out for a gig.
Just leave me be, Matthew. I gotta get my skin on, get my shut-eye.
Yeah, I'm not. I was going to do the accent. I'll just stop.
You're gonna have to help me with getting these arms on.
Generally look quite ill.
I find her really creepy, actually.
Well, that's good because that's
Yeah,
intention
yeah.
of the
Yeah,
story.
they've done well there.
She then stepped into her skin and fastened it around her body. But after
What is it, poppers or is it
I'm wondering this because when it says fastened around her body, I immediately was like, "What? Like when
Velcro?
when you tie a jump around by the arms?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What's she doing? I'm going for a zip.
I know where I'd put the zip.
Where? Go on, say it. Just undoing that flap when you need to, are you?
Like a little bum bag.
Absolutely disgusting, Fiona.
And one up the back, obviously.
oh, obviously.
Yeah. From the belly button underneath, whoop, round to the top.
Tried to fasten the skin around her body. But after a while, the salt and pepper started to itch and burn her real bad. She tried to yank the skin off, but the more she tried, the tighter the skin pressed against her body. She screamed and hollered and jumped around the room, her skin burning her alive.
Where's he? He's just watching, is he?
Well, with that, Emmett leapt out of bed and said, I got you now, you old boo hag witch. You fooled me and tricked me into marrying you, so now I'm going to kill you. Ain't nothing else can be done. And I think that's a little harsh because he pursued and stalked her for months. And I appreciate she fed him and did all this, but he was the one who was just like, that girl's fit, I'm going to stalk her for a while. I don't think she fully...
I think, though, you can fully do a 180 on a person if they start unzipping their skin at night.
Well,
Even if you pursued them, Louise.
Look, marriage is very complicated and you have to embrace somebody.
Marriage is a contract.
With that, he shoved the Boo Hag into a large barrel of tar he had been cooking on the hearth. And that Boo Hag burned and melted, her screams filling the air for miles and miles. So he's now just dissolved her in a big barrel of tar.
Right, okay.
After the Boo Hag was dead, Emmett, being the handyman that he was, knew exactly what to do with that hot barrel of tar. As the sun rose that morning, he took that tar up to the top of his house and poured himself a brand new roof. He was like, waste not, want not. I've not got a wife, but I'll have a roof.
I don't know why you'd want the remnants of your wife.
Well, you just want to get
On
your
your
money's
roof.
worth. Do you know what I mean? You're like, well, I'm not wasting this. She can be a roof. She can be of some bloody use to me.
No.
So, all of you nice, hard-working, fine-looking young men out there, the next time your eye is caught by a beautiful young girl, you'd better get to know her before you marry her, because one day you too may wake up late in the midnight hour, roll over in bed, and find yourself sleeping next to a Boo Hag. And that is the end of the story.
That last bit at the end there sounds like a bitter divorcee in a pub just having a Guinness. Like, next time you see an attractive woman, check out her personality because she's probably some sort of slag. That's what he sounds like, doesn't he?
It sounds like
Sounds really bitter.
it sounds like his mate, like a few years on, who's got divorced and was like, well, you know, she might not have been a Boo Hag, but you better check her personality because I bet she a right creep. Like,
Yeah.
just like, okay, chill out.
I mean, it's true. You should always sort of get to know someone's personality before you marry them.
Probably a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah. But she was love bombing him and she was gaslighting him. Mm. But they probably didn't know about that back then. Because I didn't know about it about 2 years ago, to be fair.
So back then, because they didn't know about that, they were like, no, it's totally normal that this woman's fed me 4 times, then we should get married. And
But I don't think they dated as much, did they?
well, over here, we don't really have a proper dating culture. Like when I lived in America for a few years, they do dating properly.
Was properly.
You go for dinner, you go
Yeah.
for coffee, you just take it really slowly, you get to know each other, and then you go, right, shall we be in an official relationship? And it's much more grown. Whereas over here, I argue that we all get to about the age of 15 and know to ask people out by getting absolutely battered off strawberry daiquiris in a can and insulting the other person so much that it's like, you're a complete dick, you're a complete bell, and they're like, oh my God, I hope he realises I like him. Like, that's our way of dating people.
When I went on a date with Matt, I could only have a small rosé with lemonade in it.
That's smart.
Yeah. So I just had to be myself.
Oh, no.
Did I tell you about the end of that date? Oh, it was uncomfortable.
I can't remember.
Oh, it was uncomfortable. He took me to the car park because the car was there. And you know, like phone calls. You know, sometimes you don't know how to end things.
Oh,
I
God.
didn't know how to end the date, so I just launched at his face and kissed his face. And he went, I was just going to go for the cheek, actually. And I was like, oh, I've sort of done it now, though, haven't I? And he was like, it's nice to meet you. It was really awkward. And then the second date was so awkward again. It was like, didn't know how to end it. And it had been a bit more like platonic. I think we both didn't know if we'd see each other again. It was in London Bridge, and it was like this really weird, awkward peck thing that happened. And I just had 2 men, one like elbowed the other one and went, fucking hell, that's an awkward first date. I was like, oh my God.
What's the best? So
Shuddering on the way home.
your first few dates were just platonically awkward.
No, the
And they
first,
kept going.
yeah, they did. I don't know why.
So why did the third date happen?
I think I asked, actually. I think I messaged him and said, did you want to go out again? And he was like, we could go for pizza if you want. And I was like, yeah, all right. And then we actually got on probably the best on the third date. Anyway, all's well that ends well.
Speaking of endings, what do you think the moral is of the Boo Hag story?
Well, they've told us though, didn't they? Get to know your wife before you marry her, which I think is just a given. I guess the moral is that it's that one again, isn't it? Like, don't be fooled by people's appearances.
Yeah.
You shouldn't
Be vigilant of people and strangers. They may not be as nice and beautiful as they appear.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, get to know somebody. And then this one was a bit left field, but I thought it was interesting. It was that women need to often shed their skin that they're confined in and search for other sources of energy because they're not fulfilled in their certain roles.
Yeah, that one's
It's a bit much, but
Yeah.
it was someone had written that down. I thought it was very interesting.
yeah, that's someone writing an essay or something, isn't it?
You look genuinely disgusted at the
Yeah,
idea of
someone
somebody-
doing a degree on fairy tales has written that one.
which I would do.
What's that? The classics. They do that at Oxford, don't they?
Yeah, it's the only place I think you can study the classics. It's just that one course at Oxford.
Yeah. Oh, right, they do that other places. I thought if you wanted to do classics or Latin, it's like only Oxford.
Right.
But everywhere, is it?
I think there are other places.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I don't think they did them at Chichester.
Right, but that's the first one of the new
Oh,
season
we're
done.
back.
We've got some good ones
Back
coming
with a
up.
Boo Hag bang.
I think that's what she called their wedding night. Yeah.
I'm going to put my Boo Hag bang skin on. Emmett, are you in bed still?
I'm seasoned well.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Be Fairy Afraid Pod. Thanks for listening.